Hey guys, it's Rob with Mon Valley Photo. Today I'm going to show you how to load your film onto a Patterson tank reel. This is a reel set up for 35mm film, but you can do the same thing with 120. But today we're just going to focus on 35mm film. There's a few things you're going to need in addition to your Patterson tank and the reels that come with it. You're going to need a bottle opener or some other kind of tool to open up your can of film. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and you're going to need a darkroom bag or a dark room. So you're going to have to do all of this in total darkness. I would recommend practicing on a dummy roll of film that doesn't have anything important to you. Do it in practice in the light before you go into an actual darkroom, or before you take an actual roll of film that has something important on it, and practice on just a dummy roll of film that you find somewhere. First thing we need to do is break open our film. I'm just going to use a regular bottle opener and pry the top off. I already had it started a little bit. Okay, so here's our roll of film. This part on here is the leader. This long skinny part on the end is the leader. So there's no exposures on here. We need a straight edge on the film before we start to load it. So first thing we're going to do is cut off this. Second thing we're going to do is cut off this leader once we have our film in our hand. Now, you're going to be doing this in total darkness. It's going to be tricky. Try not to cut yourself, and try to get a clean cut without going into the sprockets. See how I have a nice clean edge there? You'll have to really feel it with your fingers and get, to recognize that you didn't cut into any sprockets. I'll mess it up just on purpose to show you. Now there's an uneven cut. That's uneven now, and that's something that's very likely to happen when you're doing this in the dark. And it's not the end of the world. You could probably still load it like that, but if you can, just try again and cut a very narrow sliver and try to get that nice clean cut and not cut into any of the sprockets. So this is what we're ultimately going to have. This is what it should look like when you have your film loaded on the reel. You may want to take a second to get to familiarize yourself with the reel also. These little notches here, I believe this is called the gate. This is where you're going to begin to load the film onto the reel. So you'll slide it and you'll get the beginning over these ball bearings here. And then once you get it over the ball bearings, you can start to turn it and ratchet it back and forth like that, and that will load the film. So we have our film cut cleanly. We have our reel in one hand, and then I'm just going to get this in focus and show you. Just slide the film right through that gate and get it over the ball bearings. Now it's going to be so frustrating when you're trying to do this in total darkness. You're not, it's easy to do it in the light and not really stress out about it because there's nothing on this film. But the first time I did it, I was freaking out. In fact, I did end up ruining my roll of film because I just got frustrated and gave up. But so as I'm trying to get it over these ball bearings, there's some resistance and it doesn't want to go over it. So you could take your other hand and just kind of pull it over those. And as soon as I get it past that, I'll be able to start loading it. But I'm not there yet. See, this one is not over the ball bearing, so I got a problem there. I got to get this one pulled. I got to get the film pulled further a little bit more. see what the problem is. I got had a little bend there. A little corner of my film was bent and stuck on the ball bearing. Once that corner that was stuck, once I got it over the ball bearing, now it's starting to go real easily. And now I just have to keep doing that until I get to the end of the roll. Now sometimes you'll be doing this and you won't be 100% sure if the film is going anywhere. You might get it started to go and then something gets stuck and it stops loading, and you'll just be spinning this and spinning it and not really sure if it's going. So if you feel the film, you don't want to touch the film very much, but if you're holding your finger over here in the darkness, you could just feel it slide underneath your finger a little bit. So I keep advancing this until I get to the end here. Now, you'll be able to feel in the darkness that you've gotten to the end of the film here, and it's taped on to where it's taped onto the spool. And then all I need to do is use my scissors again and cut that off. Doesn't have to be super clean. And I'm good to go there. So I could just stop and leave it like that. If I advance it a little more, it'll keep going. But now the film is on the Patterson tank reel like it's supposed to be. And I can go ahead and put it in. Now if you're just developing one roll of film, you want to make sure you put that one in first. And then if you have your second reel that's empty, put that one on top. That way your chemicals, you want the chemicals to cover up the film entirely. And if you accidentally don't pour enough in, it's going to be on the empty spool. The spool that has film in it will be completely submerged. And then once you have it in the Patterson tank and the lid properly on, it's all set to go.